Excellencies, esteemed participants, ladies and gentlemen, it is a pleasure and honor to share with you the perspective on scaling up financing for climate adaptation and green growth in Africa, as we celebrate Africa Day on the theme Scaling Up Finance for Climate Adaptation and Green Growth in Africa, and on the margin of the UNFCCC COP29, we need to be cognizant of several challenges Africa faces in assessing climate change to address the devastating impacts of climate change on the continent. First, climate change is heavily biased towards financing mitigation rather than adaptation, which is a priority given the continent's high vulnerability to climate change and contributing less than 4% of global greenhouse gas emission. From all perspectives, Africa has deep need for adaptation financing to support its climate actions, including NDCs and NAPs. Second, climate finance products are very formal and complex, which will not meet the need of the private sector in Africa, which is dominated by small and medium-sized enterprises, the SMEs. According to the African Development Bank, SMEs account for more than 90% of businesses and almost 80% of employment on the continent. This mismatch will narrow the scale of meaningful engagement between climate financiers and private sector players who may not have the capacity and incentive to meet stringent climate finance requirements. Climate finance architecture should be taken into consideration the African context and reality to address climate change and actions that benefit Africa. Third, it is a general lack of clarity on climate finance standards, compliance and reporting, which often have a global north bias. The multiple standards, such as a task force on climate-related finance disclosures, task force on nature-related financial disclosure, and SDGs reports, etc., make it difficult for African players to understand which standards to adopt and resource in terms of ensuring compliance. The combination of numerous, often competing standards, biases that favor richer economy, and the lack of an inclusive common framework on standards limit the ability of African players to leverage climate finance support opportunity that speaks to their reality and priority. We must seize this opportunity of Africa Day to amplify Africa's voice at this UNFCCC COP29 in Baku, Azerbaijan, and to provide the space and platform of highlight Africa's challenges, opportunities, and responses to climate change, attendance to climate finance for adaptation and green growth on the continent. I thank you for your kind attention.